But this is still for large language models. I've noticed that for people who aren't too fond of like so many knobs and turnings, but are interested in constructing the LLMs, there's actually a flow-based system, almost like yeah. So this was almost like I forgot the old one, but like LangChain had something similar also.
The lang flow.
Langflow, yes. Langflow had so this acts a little bit like Langflow, but it also enables offline LLMs. So this one is I just had to mention this as in case you wanted something that was flow based rather than a web UI, you could just follow Flowwise as one. So this is also one of those
Interesting. This is very interesting.
LLMs.
Yeah, this one they
And
say it's much better, or I don't know. This usage is better than lang flow, right? I don't know whether you used it.
I've tried Langflow and we've gotten it to work, but that was still back in the beginning stages. So it's hard to judge the product now versus the product back then.
Okay.
But this has the general idea, or maybe this is already a descendant of Langflow. Maybe the people have renamed or moved. But this is another way to build with LLMs, and this one has agents and tools in mind. So if this works, I'm not sure yet if I think we can use this with the Ubabuga, because Ubabuga has a way to expose an API and we can connect it as the LLM. So might be possible, but Flowwise also has a way to just test the chat already in here. So here you can see just connect everything, save, and then test your chat, and then it's gonna do React, or it's gonna use tools. So this is for LLM. So let's move on to image generation, generative. So image generation. The favorite product for image generation is Automatic 1111. This brings a lot of the stable diffusion models together. So you'll have your diffusion, your basic UNet autoencoders. You'll have the main big one, which would be your base model, and then some kind of refinement, and then even a variational autoencoder after to clean up faces, and upscalers and all of that. If you're interested in something that was particularly wait, I'm trying to remember the name. Comfy UI. So Comfy UI is a flow-based version of Stable Diffusion. So if you're interested in seeing what goes on underneath, there's also Comfy UI. I also heard that this runs faster than Automatic 1111, but Automatic 1111 has been the most supported. So all the extensions and all these repositories that have so many capabilities for changing your image for generative image generation. It's all in Automatic 1111. So Comfy UI, this came out a few months, maybe a month or a month and a half ago, but it's slowly picking up. So if you're also interested in a flow-based diagram, you could see that. So clip text encoders, you can put in a positive. So the way it works is you could put in a positive prompt, a negative prompt. So those that would be included and those that would be maximizing the
This is really
maximizing the
good.
likelihood. Oh yeah,
Patrick,
yes,
this is really good.
Yeah, but under the hood, so if you're not interested in building a flow, they have complicated flows with that have an output that shows you the base, and then it can go to a refiner. It will show you again an output, and it can show. So this can get as complicated as you want for Comfy UI. This is So this is I'm also trying to explore this because I heard this runs more optimized. So if you already have a particular flow that you have in mind, or for if you're building a startup and you already know the kind of flow and the kind of packages that you want, maybe it can help contribute to this project and yeah, enable endpoints for these flow based. But so this is the one that is yeah, this one is very manual but flow based. But if you understand everything moving from point A to point B, I would recommend this. Now for the current standard, probably the gold standard for support and image generation, we have Stable Diffusion Web UI. It's so popular that it's so popular that Ubabuga even said that they are the automatic 1111 of text generation. So you can tell that they're you can tell that they're this is that popular. So the system will look a little bit, it will look like this. It will give you tabs on the top. It will tell you what the input and outputs are for the kinds of models. If you have additional kinds of feed functions that you want to do, even the most recent ones like segment anything from Meta is already supported here. So many things that we could do with this one. And then all different kinds of sampling methods, and you can do in painting and all these things. So okay, but but the way it works is, you can put in a positive prompt, negative prompt, click on generate. Oh, set how many steps of sampling, the size, the resolutions, and then if you want it to keep generating the same, have a seed ready, and then generate. You can also have batch size and batch counts, and then generate, and then it's gonna do it in maybe a couple of steps. You'll see from the base model moving, and then a refiner. So you'll see the jumps, and then there are also additional extensions you can see where you can see the actual transferring of from latent space to your final output. So many interesting things. Now, to get things started, I would also recommend doing the same thing, making sure you already know what systems you're using: NVIDIA GPUs, Windows, or are you going to be using Linux? Linux is still more highly preferred, and it also works the same way. You want to just git clone, and then you can just git clone and then install all the requirements. So here, but for here the most important is that they're more particular. Python 3.10.6 is the one that's recommended instead of 3.10.9 for the LLMs with Ubabuga. So just keep that in mind. So if we were to make another, okay, let's close this instance already. So let's make a new. So Python 6, and let's just do bootcamp 2. Oops. And then, so this time it will do Python 3.10.6, and then it's also the same. They tried to make it simple enough. You just have to git clone this repository, and then after that, just run the batch file. So just run the shell. Okay. So let's do this. Countdown. Ugh. Okay. So git clone. All right. And then okay. And then just run run the script. And then what it will do is it will install PyTorch 2. So you can see this could be a problem if your CUDA drivers aren't compatible. If you're using the latest CUDA, it might try to downgrade. If you're using CUDA 12, it will try to downgrade or try to install PyTorch 11.8. So your drivers might not be supporting this. So just be careful or use a Docker file to make sure that you can support CUDA 11.8. And yeah, so PyTorch 2.0.1 can run. After that, after this gets installed, so I think I could just yeah. When this gets installed, we can just this will take a little bit of time, but when this gets installed, it will we can get access to the we can get access to the web UI for the radio, and then we can start generating images, or we can start adding some extensions. So I think while we're waiting for it to download, it might be good to discuss some of the extensions that are available. And I'm looking for I know there is a tutorial. So in the README.
You can go through the features by pictures, something they have below.
Features?
Yeah, features.
Oh, these one at a time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You can
okay, sure.
go the detailed feature showcase with images.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think it was. I think it's somewhere here, if I'm not mistaken. There's like a tutorial. I'm not sure if it's not configs. Was it extension? No. I think it was in the README. Not mistaken. Or oh, it's the same thing. Okay, it's the same thing. Oh no. Here they have. Never mind. Yeah. Okay, so let's just go through the README real quick. So in the prompting, it's able to recognize some different kinds of syntaxes. So if you're going to text to image, under text to image, you're able to do enhance the attention of specific parts. You can either put, so if you want to put a prompt that says a man in a tuxedo, but you want the tuxedo to be, you want the model to pay high attention to the tuxedo, you have to make sure it's an actual tuxedo. You can either add additional brackets, or you can just assign, like put a colon, put it in parentheses, and then assign how much more, how much more increased. So if one is the baseline for every token, you can enhance the attention score for this. This also works with LoRa's. So later you'll see when you want to attach a LoRa, we can just do this. You could just say LoRa, and then you can put the attention score of the LoRa. Other things, so it's able to do upscaling. It's able to do some color sketchings, in painting and out painting. So in painting, you can create a mask of your image. So let's say you created a mask on the face of the person, and then have it generate again. It will just replace the mask. So that was in painting. Out painting is outside what you had created a mask of, or outside if you want to extend, or if you want to extend your image somehow, like zooming out, almost like a zoom out effect. You can use out painting. And then yeah, there are ways to do some kind of depth mapping. Textual inversion, I think this has to do with the text embeddings. And you're able to use different kinds of embeddings. So it's almost like a prompt, but you're adding just additional embeddings already to help with the generation. So I'm not sure if it affects directly into the latent space or if it directs the input before going into the latent space. But and then there are neural networks. So there's a GANs that fixes the face. There's a restoration tool. There's upscaling tools, different kinds. So many, really so many. And then you can resize the aspect ratios. Great samples. There are low RAM support. If you need to reduce the inferencing to accommodate for smaller. And then there are so much more. A lot of extensions have to do with affecting the latent space. So while it's entering, as how Asif had taught us, that when you go down to the hidden space, you're able to try to introduce much more information. And that's where a lot of these extensions come into play. You can do this to swap a face. You can do this to essentially create identify segments, and so much more. So all this is because of CLIP. It starts with CLIP, your contrastive language image pre-training. It helps from there, and a lot. You can create custom scripts. So one thing is for select, it says we can use the XFormers library if you're running an NVIDIA card that's pretty recent. So we could use this. And then there's also composable diffusion. So the one that adds weights. If you want to have multiple prompts working side by side, you can use the big word "and." So if you want your image to have a cat and a dog and a penguin, and you're running this already over and you've already created a mask. Let's say you had 3 pictures of your friends, and then you wanted to turn one into a cat, one into a dog, one into a penguin, and you can just create an in-painting of those 3 friends, send in a prompt like this, and the first friend becomes a cat, second friend's a dog, third friend's a penguin. So that can happen, and a lot more trainings and all that. So let's see if we finish. Oh, it's downloading. It's trying to download Stable Diffusion 1.5 as the base, but let me instead just get the base models already. So for Stable Diffusion Web UI, it goes under Models, and under Stable Diffusion, this is where you put your models. Okay, so we're also, so this is the main model. This is the base model, Stable Diffusion 1.5. But we're also including Stable Diffusion XL, so that we can test the latest and greatest. Now I think Stable Diffusion. So I forgot. We also need a variational autoencoder. So let's copy this. Let me just. Models. So if you want to run SDXL, you'll need the variational autoencoder for SDXL. So this one, VAE. You can download this in Hugging Face. You also need the Stable Diffusion model for both the base and the refiner. And when you have that, you can run. So now if we try running this again, you'll be able to see that, okay, it doesn't run XFormers by default. So next time we can run this with XFormers. And this will move faster. Model free tone. What happened? Paying attention.
Patrick, this is your laptop with 128 GB RAM, isn't it?
Oh, yes, Asif.
And what does it have? It has a 3080
3080 16 gig VRAM.
16 gig VRAM. It's pretty powerful.
Yes, Asif, it is.
And does it act as a informal heater in the winter?
No. Oh, yeah. Luckily, it hasn't come down to that yet. But
nice. It's amazing.
okay. Yeah.
I have a laptop envy, seeing how fast your laptop runs.
Yeah, this looks like a business laptop also. So, there's, well, I seem to have encountered an installation error, but let me see what had happened. Oh, well, it ran. So this is, I just like to, let me just.
Patrick, you have to create a elephant playing with the moon.
Okay, sure. Oops. Anyway, okay. I usually like the lighter thing, but okay. Let's see if this runs now, because in my terminal it seems to be. Oops. So it's not loading this particular model. Let's see. Okay. Okay, this one loaded properly, the SDX, the 1.5. Let's see if I can load my SDXL, the most recent one. Oh no, so we're having problems with the SDXL. We could try SD 1.4, a stable diffusion, just the regular one for now. Oops. Oh, model loaded. Okay. Did it load? Oh, okay. Oops. So let's see if this can work. Elephant.
No, this is just a refiner, right? Second step.
Oh yeah, sure, right. So the base isn't loading, so let's just do SDXL, SD 1.5.
Okay.
So an elephant playing with the moon as a positive prompt. Of course, we don't want missing limbs. We don't want anything. We don't want deformed limbs. We don't want extra tusks. I learned my lesson already there, but okay, so yeah, these are just the sampling methods. There are so many, I don't have yet to figure out how those work, but you can also click on restore faces if you're actually creating a portrait. We're using stable diffusion 1.5, so by default it starts with 512 by 512. We don't want to upscale. We're using a random seed. You can pick a you can set your seed, but after you click, you can find out what the seed it was assigned to just by clicking, or you can just go back to random. You can add additional scripts, but yes, this is generally it. So let's see. Let's generate.
Yeah, this is quite fast on your machine.
Oh yes, the GPU. If you have a NVIDIA GPU, it will really run fast. So how long did this take? So it took it a couple of, well, not even a second, I think. 1.4 seconds.
Let's see the picture. Pretty good.
Yeah. So this is pretty good, right? But this gets even much more interesting once you start adding extensions. So if you click on extensions and then look, and then these are the ones that are added already by default. Like you can add a LoRa and all that. But there are so much more things. So let's just go by. So this is almost like a window shopping for what you want to add.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this one has manipulation. If you want them to have a specific pose, if you're generating just a face, you can actually get them to talk, because if you have an audio generation, the audio generation one, or you're using whisper or some text to speech like 11 Labs, you can actually get that stable diffusion image to start talking. You're also able to have, if you want to connect it to your Photoshop and let stable diffusion be the one that paints over your masks in Photoshop, you could do this. There's some tile diffusion. I'm not too familiar with this, but I have to read up the paper on that. But here you can see the segment anything paper. So this one has already. I found out that so grounding Dino is a uh, zero shot object detection. So it's able to create a bounding box and figure out from your text from your text what exactly you were looking for in your image. And then you can use segment anything on top of that to create a mask for that. So let's say we'll use this one. This was pretty interesting. Just click on install. It will take some time, but it will install. And yeah, it will load this. So that was installed. And then you can look at so many other things, but I can even connect to Comfy UI, the flow version earlier. So this one was also good. But I think if you don't have if you don't have it available in that repository, you can also go to what was that? Uh, what was that? So the same guy also has automatic 1111. He also has this prompt generation. So let's say you're not good at creating prompts for stable diffusion. Let me just copy this. And then, oops, where's my stable diffusion? And then let me just install from URL. It says put in the Git repository. So prompt gen. So let's install this one. And what this does is essentially it will add an additional tab. Oh, sorry, I didn't get to run a tab. I didn't get to teach everybody here. So let me run through each tab first. So text to image is put in some text. You can generate an image with some settings. Image to image is given an image you already have, use this as your starting latent space, and then convert it with some text, convert it eventually to a new image. So almost like preload, these are your preloaded weights, and these are your text that you're adding. Extras, there are some like you want to upscale, or you want to turn a black and white picture into colored. They have those. You can do batch processing also, and you can do so. Stable diffusion is not multi GPU friendly yet, but what you can do is you can have it process the same task across each GPU. So it will be just sending the same kinds of tasks. If you want to create a whole list of images, or if you want to create images in sequence, you could send it. You can send it to different GPUs. But generating an image, essentially, you'd have to you're stuck with one GPU for now. Then you can't even use NVLink, or like you can't merge multiple GPUs to increase. So that's the given limitation now, unless you have a, you know, the H100 or the A100 40 gig or 80 gig. Yeah, that's the limiting factor right now for Stable Diffusion. So these ones are for if you have some checkpoints. Checkpoints are essentially, so like what I wanted to show is I can load my Stable Diffusion. I have the more policy, but you can also train your own. So hypernetworks like a LoRa, if I'm not mistaken. It also has a way of affecting, yeah, affecting the different weights at the different points in initializations. But here you can train your own LoRa's as well. This one was the one I installed. So let's say you want an elephant uh, hugging the moon, and then let's do generate. What it will do is it will already give you like a list of prompts that you could use.
Oh, this is interesting.
Yeah. So, and then I want this prompt. Okay, I want to do a text to image because I don't have an image yet. I click text image, it sends it over there already. So now we're all ready. We could do generate. And yeah, if we use the X formers, it will probably also move faster. But this was pretty fast already. And yeah, we did it because we didn't put any negative prompt. The elephant only has 3 legs. So this is why you want to put missing limbs and extra tasks. But that's, yeah. So this is the quick intro to Stable Diffusion. And oh, this one. Okay. Yeah, this one is just this is a quick intro to Stable Diffusion. Uh, the next thing is I can enable we can enable using the use of LoRa's, and we can use multiple models, essentially fine-tuned models of the original Stable Diffusion. But I might have to, I might have to maybe start a new video because I need some setup again
Nice.
for this. Yeah. So yeah, if we could pause the recording for a bit, or I'll just stop sharing for now, and then I will try to set up my original